Hey there. If you've ever been a student, you've probably faced that whole barrage of different writing assignments, right? The narrative essay, the persuasive one, the compare and contrast. It can get, well, a little confusing. Why are there so many different types? Today, we're going to unpack that. We'll get into why these different styles exist and, more importantly, how you can start to master them. Let's dive in.
I mean, have you ever felt like your teachers are just making you jump through all these hoops with different essay formats, as if there's no real-world reason for any of it? If you felt that, trust me, you are not alone.
In fact, our source material introduces us to a student named David. He was sitting in his class, totally baffled by this, and he asked his instructor that exact same thing. His journey from being confused to finally getting it, well, that's going to be our guide today.
So David's big question is probably one you've had too. It seems like a report you'd write for your boss is totally different from, say, a letter to the editor. So what's the point of learning all these rigid academic formats anyway?
And this is where it gets good. The answer his instructor, Kaha Yali, gave him kind of changes the whole game. See, it's not about memorizing formats just to pass a test. It's about becoming a flexible, adaptable communicator. Someone who can pick the right approach for any situation you might face in your career or just in life.
So let's try to think about this a different way. Forget about assignments with strict rules for a second. Instead, imagine each writing style as a unique tool that you're adding to your own personal writer's toolkit. And obviously, the more tools you have, the more cool stuff you can build.
Okay, so what are these tools actually called? In the writing world, they're known as rhetorical modes. Now, I know that sounds super fancy, but the idea behind it is actually really simple. They're just patterns for communicating effectively.
Think of it like this. You wouldn't use a hammer to try and saw a piece of wood, right? It's the wrong tool for the job. In the same way, you wouldn't use a simple story to write a complex scientific report. Rhetorical modes are just about picking the right tool for the right communication job. So, let's look at a few of the most common ones.
All right. First step in our toolkit is the narrative. This is our storytelling tool. Think about a really compelling personal essay, or even that little story at the beginning of a news article. It pulls the reader into a journey to reveal a bigger idea and connect on a more emotional level.
Then we've got description. This tool is all about painting a picture with words. It's how a food critic makes you almost taste a dish, or how a travel writer makes you feel the sun on your skin. By hitting on the five senses, it makes an abstract idea feel totally real.
Okay, next up, cause and effect. This is our analytical tool. It's what scientists use to explain their research, or what historians use to piece together events. It's all about building that logical chain to show why something happened, the kind of logic David was looking for.
And of course, there's comparison and contrast. This is such a powerful tool for making decisions. You see it all the time in product reviews, right? Putting two phones side by side. It highlights what's similar and what's different to help you understand each one way better.
And finally, let's talk about maybe the biggest power tool in the kit, persuasion. Whether you're writing an opinion piece for a newspaper or a proposal for work, the goal is the same. Convince your reader to agree with you or to take a specific action. It's built on logic, evidence, and clear, respectful language.
But here's where it gets really, really interesting. A master carpenter doesn't just use one tool for a big project, do they? Nope, they use a bunch of them. And it turns out, the exact same thing is true for a great writer.
You see, the most effective writing, it hardly ever sticks to just one of these modes. You might start with a story to grab someone's attention, then use cause and effect to explain a problem, all inside one big persuasive essay. This is the next level of understanding, for David and for us. Okay, let's make this super practical. Think about a really powerful persuasive essay. It probably starts with a short story, that's our narrative tool to build an emotional connection. Then it uses cause and effect to logically break down the problem. Next, it gives you vivid examples, which is really a form of the description tool to make that problem feel real. And all of this is working together for one main goal, persuasion. You're using a bunch of tools to build one strong argument.
So, what this all boils down to is a huge shift in how we think about writing. We're moving away from just memorizing rules for a class and moving toward the lifelong practice of actually building a craft.
And look, the difference between these two approaches is massive. The old way feels rigid and temporary, like it's just about passing a test. But the toolkit approach, that's flexible and permanent. It's not just about what to write, but why and how you're writing it. This isn't just for a grade. This is a communication skill you'll have for life.
So, how do you actually build this toolkit? Well, it's an active process. It starts with reading things more critically, then talking about those ideas to really get them.
It's about practicing how to pull information together in your own words. And through all that, you start to find your own unique voice. And of course, it takes practice, practice, and more practice.
And that brings us right back to those wise words from David's instructor. Every single essay, every little assignment is a chance to add another tool to your belt. The toolkit you're building right now will give you the flexibility and the confidence to handle any communication challenge that comes your way down the road.
So, the next time you're staring at a blank page, don't just think about the assignment rules. Think about the tools you have. You're not just a student following a formula, you're a builder with a growing toolkit. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?